Hello, I'm Tom and thank you for purchasing one of our MP090 Centrifugal oil separators from Separator Spares International. I'd like to welcome you to our training video where I shall take you on a step-by-step guide to the service and cleaning procedure. First thing to remember before we take the separator apart is to isolate it from a high pressure line. So either turn the engine or the piece of equipment off, or if you have a valve in the inlet line, please isolate now. Second thing, I would recommend using some gloves to protect your hands. We're now ready to start the disassembly. First thing to do is turn anti-clockwise the band clamp, which loosens it. We can then remove the T-bolt from the clamp and place down around the separator. We remove the cover assembly, give a slight twist and lift off. Inside there's an O-ring, we just need to check that it's not damaged. Then we can remove the bowl assembly. To drain the oil you might need to just lift slightly for a few seconds so that the oil can leave the bowl assembly. Then once done you can remove the bowl assembly totally. We're now at the stage where we're going to disassemble and clean the bowl assembly, and we need some tools to do the job. We've got a couple of spanners, a hook tool, a wooden or nylon spatula and a mallet. First thing to do is to lie the bowl assembly down, get your spanners, now the MP090 has a right hand thread, so untighten to remove using a spanner and untighten the cover nut. Okay, remove the cover nut. If the washer doesn't come, we can just take our mallet, hold on to the top of the bowl wall gently and tap the bearing tube until the distributor plate and bowl discs come apart. We can now take the top turbine off by giving a gentle hit with the mallet. Okay, we now have the bowl wall and we can remove the mesh on the top, which is to be discarded. We now have all three main parts separated, ready for cleaning. Okay, we have our distributor plate which is dirty, so we need to use our tool, our spatula, just to clean away any sludge cake and carbon deposits. If the sludge has gone down between the distributor impeller, you may need to just lift up, in which case you can take the bowl discs off and just lift up gently the impeller before cleaning. We can now wipe with a clean cloth, if need be a little bit of lubricant or clean oil just to help the process. There's no need to clean individually the bowl discs, and they don't even need to be removed unless some sludge has gone under the distributor impeller or has gone into the discs themselves. We now need to clean the top turbine. Give a wipe round. One very important factor is to check that the nozzles aren't blocked. One of the best ways to ensure these are clean is by using a source of compressed air. And finally, we need to remove the main sludge cake from the bowl wall. So use our spatula, either wooden or nylon, to get behind the paper insert and just push behind the paper liner all the way down to the bottom of the wall. Do the same on the opposite side, making sure you get behind the paper liner and just ease it away from the base. You should then be able to just use your hands to remove the paper and the dirt cake in one piece. If there's any more dirt in the bottom, you can tip this out. Just wipe round, and we need to just check that the O-rings are in a good condition, making sure that they're sitting nice and tight, they're not brittle, and there's no cracks or damage, both on the top of the bowl wall and also on the bottom of the distributor. If there's no damage, then they don't need to be replaced. Secondly, one of the other things to check actually is the bearings, ensuring that there's no scoring or damage to the top bearing or the bottom bearing. That's now all disassembled, and you can now continue to clean to make good as you wish. We're now reassembling the clean bowl assembly. First thing to do, if we've taken any of the O-rings out or we're replacing them with new, we use a little bit of silicone grease and insert into the groove in the distributor plate. We now take the distributor impeller, place over the bearing tube and just find the location slots so it sits down. We replace the bowl discs if we remove them. You can do these a few at a time. Gently press down and twist until you find the notches. The disc stack is now back on the bearing tube. At this point, it's very important to check that the discs are level with a step on the bearing tube. If the discs are a little bit lower, then we need to replace or add an additional disc. If we remove the O-ring from the top of the bowl wall, we now need to replace. Put a little bit of grease on. And reseal and check. We can now put a new paper liner inside the bowl wall. Just squeeze it and then slide in. Turn the bowl wall over, and now we need to put a new mesh screen, ensuring that the coarse side is facing up. You'll see the difference between the two sides. We now have the bowl all ready to place on the distributor. Place the bowl wall over, making sure it's square on the O-ring, and then push down. Just make sure it's down all the way around and the O-ring is not escaped. We now need to just add the top turbine. And again, make sure it's square on the O-ring before pushing down. And you hear the click when it goes in. And again, check that the O-ring is concealed. Finally, we can replace the washer and the bowl cover nut and tighten. We need to lie it down and then use our spanners and sockets again. Nice and tight. So there's no leakage areas. We've now cleaned and reassembled the bowl. Now it's ready to go and reassemble into the housing. Okay, we've finished the cleaning and servicing of the bowl assembly. Now it's the time to put it all back together. Firstly, we replace the bowl assembly into the housing, just giving it a little spin to make sure it rotates freely. We can then replace the cover assembly, like so, and then finally replace the bank lamp. Turning clockwise to tighten. It should be done hand tight. The separator has now been totally reassembled and is ready to be turned on again. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope it's proved useful. If you've got any more queries, please refer to our installation and servicing manual, or don't hesitate to contact us here at Separator Spares International.